Are we recording?
I hope so. I'm hoping so. I can't double check it right now.
You are now entering the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.
Geek Speak, the definitive 365 cut. These are the meaningless ramblings of a Scottish redone whore and a pissy ex-video store clerk. Their ongoing mission is to set right the movie wrongs. They're gonna need a bigger podcast.
Right, let's go. Here we go.
So hello everybody and welcome to episode 10 of the 365Flicks podcast, take 2. Full disclosure, this isn't our first rodeo on this episode. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we're bouncing back, we're coming back and we're doing it again. I'm the pissy ex-video store clerk, Kevin, and the man across from me is...
I am the Scottish Whedon whore, Chris.
We did the whole thing last night, and we had it on the Facebook and we had it on the Twitter, and we got a little bit of feedback from it and that. Not much, because the American guys on Musings were a little bit knocked off because it's not actually out till like Wednesday or Thursday over there.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, that, to me. Fair enough, you know, a couple of days, but it's a long time.
It's like a full week, you know.
Yeah.
In the world of spoilers, and surely they know everything now, don't they?
Well, yeah, and especially if you've got arseholes like us doing full reviews of it, you know.
Rocking the Batman Cup.
I saw that.
I also want to address the fact that the last few episodes we've not had Ash on board. There's been the odd little bit of reasons for that, but Ash will pretty much jump on when he can. But he specifically didn't want to do this one because we're doing the Avengers Age of Ultron review.
Yeah, I can understand that, because he wasn't really best pleased that he wasn't able to make it to come and see the movie. So
no, he wasn't. But I mean, that's not our fault, is it?
We didn't really help though.
With the countdowns on Facebook and everything.
Well, to be fair, that was you, not me. But the day after, we did kind of take it too far with the spoilers.
I think we did a little bit.
Hayden Christensen as the new Spider-Man is one of the high/low points for me.
I quite honestly did not reply to that because I didn't know how to reply to that.
So I won.
You pretty much won that one. You definitely won that one.
The Asshole Award 2015.
2015 goes to you. We do have a little bit where we normally say, you know, fuck you to someone in the podcast episode, so that could be the fuck you of this episode. It could go to yourself.
I'm happy with that.
We'll just use it as Ash's proxy fuck you. So we've mentioned a couple of times there already about the fact that we have the Facebook page. It's the group page for the podcast. Look for it. It's 365Flicks. Just search for it, you'll find us. If you want to like us, share us, comment, give us some shit, feedback, that's what we want to hear. We're also on the Twitters as well, but I don't plug that as hard.
Twitter sucks, really, doesn't it? So we're not interested in Twitter.
When we start doing the merchandise, we're not going to have hashtag 365Flicks, so fuck that shit.
Indeed we are not. Not on any design that I'm doing.
So this is the episode 10. We're in the double digits now.
Happy days.
I mean, technically this is our 12th episode, because we did zero.
The first one was episode 0, and then we had episode 9.5. But then, you know, you're getting into Doctor Who territory there, because, you know, the whole thing with which number is the Doctor and all that.
Yeah, we don't want to get too timey-wimey with our podcasting.
So, episode 10. We'll leave it at episode 10.
So we're on episode 10, double digits, big thing, bumper episode. It probably won't be as big as the one we did have, but
no,
bygones, as you say.
Like some Lord of the Rings type length.
That was our Joss Whedon Avengers 2 Ultimate Edition.
Aye.
We're going to start off as we always do, the news roundup. We're going to do the review of Age of Ultron, because as we just said, we went to see it last Friday. Then we are going to do our top 5 comic book / movie villains.
Comic book or superhero movie TV villains.
Not specifically a character that was in the comic books, but was in the TV or the movie.
Yeah.
God, we need to stop.
That was a bit wordy, wasn't it?
We need to stop setting so many rules, don't we?
Yeah. Be fine.
And then that'll be... You have to set rules. And then that'll be followed up by my new favourite section due to the last podcast, where we basically broaden each other's horizons and we recommend a movie that you may not have watched in the day. Make each other watch it. Last time you done Biodome. This time I have to review a movie called Rat Race, which is a 2001 classic.
Yeah.
So, let's just jump right in there to the news roundup. And last night I done like a news at 10 biggity bong, but I'm just not feeling it tonight, so let's just crack on.
Well, it was shit anyway, let's be fair. So yeah, speaking of Avengers, just briefly, I did read today that when the Age of Ultron Blu-ray comes out later on in the year, probably autumn way, it's going to be there's going to be an extended and alternate ending.
Yeah, I read about the alternate ending. So what would the alternate ending be?
I don't know. Ultron wins?
Ultron wins. Yeah, I'd be alright with that.
It's James Spader after all. You've got to have him win in one of the versions of it.
You know what it is? I was watching it earlier. Me and Lindsay were sitting watching Blacklist, and you know what? That man he can do no wrong.
I've been rewatching Boston Legal. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, he was awesome in that.
He's classic in that, like, yeah.
The two of them were Shatner and him. They were both.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so that's the news about Age of Ultron when it eventually comes out on Blu-ray.
Well, that's good news to me. I'm happy about that.
I want to see more. I want to see the Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah, the 3-hour epic, 3-hour opus.
Oh yeah.
You know, I do want to see that. I want to see what he left out, and I want to see why he left it out. It might explain a couple of things, but we're gonna get to the review. We'll get to the review. The big thing though this week or the last week that we both talked about at length was the Jared Leto picture.
Yeah.
Of the Joker. Like, how are we still feeling that? Are we not feeling that? Or
I'm actually I was reading a few things about it today, and I'm warming up to it. I'm starting to warm up to it. It's a little bit weird when you first see it. Fair enough. I was having a chat with one of the guys who likes us on Facebook, and he sort of mentioned the ha 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 tattoo and also the forehead tattoo that he wasn't too sure about. I agree with it. I agree with the forehead tattoo. It's a little bit, yeah. But the ha 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 thing, I quite like that. And you've got the Joker smile on the other arm as well. It's all right. It's just something different. You know, as we've said quite a few times now, when it comes to the Joker, everybody's going to be comparing him to Heath Ledger.
yeah.
When Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, there was outrage,
Oh yeah.
myself included. I'll put my hands up and say when I heard about that, I thought, the guy from A Knight's Tale or whatever it was called.
I was exactly the same. Like, I didn't think Heath Ledger was going to do it any kind of justice.
And look what happened. So
Yeah.
I'm warming up to it. I think it's a lot like sort of the Killing Joke type Joker.
That's what they're going for. It's definitely what they're going for.
Completely insane and off his seed and all that. I think give him a chance. It's only a bloody photograph.
I'm going to give him a chance. I like Jared Leto as an actor. I think he's a great actor, you know. Yep. And unlike when we heard that Heath Ledger was going to play the Joker and everybody jumped on the fuck Heath Ledger bandwagon, I didn't get that with Jared Leto. Like, I instantly thought perfect, you know. I actually did think perfect.
Yeah, I was the same, definitely.
Can't wait to see him do it because I like Jared Leto. The only thing is I want David Ayer and I want Jared Leto. I want them all to stop showing us. Stop showing us pictures of him. Stop doing this voice. Stop it. Just let us get the movie.
Yeah, he keeps doing voices at his gigs and all that, doesn't he?
How annoying is that though?
Yeah. I mean, I've not heard it yet. I really don't want to. I don't want to hear it. I agree with you completely there, Kev. Stop showing us little teasers and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I know that we're in the days of water and all that kind of thing, so that's what happens. But
But let's be honest, that movie comes out next August, alright? So all I want now, I want a teaser trailer. Give me a teaser trailer with very little in it. Then give me another trailer where I get to see a little bit of Harley, because I need me some Harley. And then just bring the film out and just stop dicking us around.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, it's a year away before we get to see it?
Yes.
Or over a year?
Just over a year.
By the time they get through all of the bloody cast, going through their transformations, everybody's going to be pissed off with them.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the movie. So, yeah, you're completely right there. Just calm yourselves down, basically. I mean, you could say fair play to the guy who's excited as hell about playing the Joker.
And you would be proper excited about playing the Joker, but don't blow your load all in one go.
Yeah.
Just give us time. So anything else that's been...
So the one that I want to speak about first is Star Trek 3.
Yeah.
So the rumoured title of Star Trek 3 is Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
And you said that you didn't realise that Simon Pegg was writing it.
I didn't know, and I'm still not sold on that.
I'm not sold whatsoever, to be honest. I've got big worries for it now. I think that they brought it back. JJ did his thing over 2 movies.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of hate towards Into Darkness, but they can all shut the fuck up.
Of course
I love
they
that
can.
movie.
Movie's perfect. Movie is actually perfect.
I'll not start picking. It'll be fine. Aye, so leave Into Darkness alone. It's a bloody good movie. And then he did a solid foundation before he left to do Star Wars.
Yeah.
And now it's just being chipped away at, and it just seems to be falling apart.
Well, everybody just started jumping ship, didn't they?
All the writers
left,
and
the writers left.
They had a director, and then he left, and it just seems to be falling apart. And I just think, how long before we start to lose cast members?
We can't lose cast members. I mean, as soon as
you know
start...
what? As soon as you lose one of the biggies, if you lose Kirk, for example, the whole thing's fucked.
And let's be honest, if he wanted to, he could jump into that DC Marvel bandwagon anytime he wanted.
Yeah, which one is he rumoured to be? Is it Green Lantern?
It's Green Lantern, yeah.
Aye.
Which I would buy. I would love to see him in it.
Yeah, I would. Diggle would be better, but
Diggle would be great.
But yeah, if they lost him, or even Spock.
To be fair, any of your core cast, even going down to the likes of Chekhov and Sulu, you lose any of them, it's not going to feel the same. It's the whole thing with Simon Pegg. You've got all this greatness that JJ's done, like you say, set a solid foundation. All the next guy had to do was come in and do the Klingon War. That's all he had to do.
That's all we wanted to see.
The big question. I was watching a little bit of Into Darkness. I was flicking through Netflix the other day and I saw it and I was like, fuck it, just put it on, have a little watch of it. Without JJ, will they still have the license for all that lens flare, or is that gone?
Well, you see, different director, you're probably going to have cars shooting across the screen and all that kind of thing.
Well, it's the Fast and the Furious director, isn't it? So
the Enterprise is probably going to go over a cliff at some point, and they've got to run up it.
It's going to have a few NOS tanks in the back.
In slow motion, obviously.
Instead of a warp core, you're going to have NOS. So speaking of Fast and the Furious, they've given us a date for Furious 8.
Yeah.
I know you really don't care about those movies, but let's be
I
honest.
couldn't be less interested.
It's making some serious bank. Fast 7 has made some serious
I saw a
bank.
headline today that it's still number 1 in the US or something like that.
It's 4 weeks at number 1.
Yeah, just give it a minute.
And I'm sure it's sitting on number 7. It's sitting number 7 on the highest grossing movies of all time.
I mean, that's nothing to be sniffed at, it's not my kind of thing.
No TARDISes and stuff, so you're not going to watch it, are you?
Is that the plural for TARDIS? TARDI?
So, TARDI. So I thought I would just drop a little bit of Fast 8 in there for you. I think the big thing for me right now is this Telltale game. I'm wanting this Telltale game now.
Yeah.
In 2017, for those who don't know, if Telltale and Marvel have joined forces and they are making some sort of decision-based Marvel, I'm assuming superhero-y type deal.
It's got to be, unless you can sort of design your own superhero and have it go in with the Avengers and stuff, but
they ain't gonna do that.
As we decided, why do that when you could just have Spider-Man?
You're desperate for this Spider-Man, aren't you?
Well, I mean, let's face it, the company that makes the Spider-Man games can't make a game to fucking save itself.
No.
They just suck. So, yeah, I'm desperate for a decent Spider-Man game. The last decent Spider-Man game I played was when Spider-Man 2 came out, the Sam Raimi one, and they brought that game out, and it was kind of like Grand Theft Auto, where it was all open map, and it was brilliant.
I don't think I ever played it.
It was really, really good. But that was, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
7-8 years ago that Spider-Man 2 came out, so it's quite a long time ago, really, without a decent Spider-Man game. So yes, Telltale, I'm excited about that.
Well, let's be honest, they've done cracking work with The Walking Dead. Played one episode of the Borderlands pre-sequel, which was alright, but I don't like the game Borderlands, so it just kind of went over my head. I've done one episode of the Game of Thrones. You've played a few of them, haven't you?
Absolutely love that. Yeah, I've only played the first 2. I'm not sure if the third episode's up yet.
I'm not sure. I've only played the first one, but I was loving it. Like it was brilliant. So I mean, I'm super excited to see that they are doing that. Like it would be good to see a bit of Telltale and a bit of Marvel together. It'd be different as well, because let's be honest, Walking Dead and Game of Thrones aren't that cheery. So
yeah, that's very true. Certainly on the Game of Thrones Telltale game, it's not a cheery game.
I can't imagine it
at all. Ramsay Snow is a complete prick in it, which you would expect,
Yes, which I would love.
He's fucking unhinged. He tries to pinch your sister off you to go to take her hunting. Do you remember in I think it's season 3 or the start of season 4 where he's hunting the lassie through the woods and shoots her to fuck. So he's tried to take in the game. He tries to take your little sister hunting.
So instantly you're thinking no.
Well, yeah. You see, the thing is, obviously, there's different choices and all that. I pulled her away from him and hid her behind me, and then the cunt came up and slit my throat. So So yeah.
That's the beauty of a decision-based game, isn't it?
Yeah, I see, but I tried it different ways and I got killed every single time, so he's just a horrible bastard, basically.
So sticking with the Telltale and the Marvel, you're hoping for a Spider-Man Telltale. So we've had some Spider-Man news this week, this last couple of weeks. We obviously had the shortlist of
right.
people, and
we're down to 5 actors apparently.
Down to 5, yeah. Which upsets you because I think that means we're going to get an announcement pretty damn soon.
Yeah.
You think in Comic-Con they're going to tell us who Spider-Man's going to be?
Yeah, Marvel aren't at Comic-Con, are they? Didn't James Gunn say that they're not going this year?
Yeah, they do their own Marvel thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Kind of like Star Wars Celebration, they do their own little Marvel panel.
I mean, it's not going to happen, I know that. I just think it would be cool if they did. If anybody doesn't know what the hell we're talking about here, I read a theory on, I think it was Movie Pilot.
Yeah.
That wouldn't it be cool if in Civil War graphic novel Spider-Man unmasks himself to the press? So in the graphic novel, the whole world finds out who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
Peter Parker. So the theory that I read was that they were going to try and keep the actor's identity secret until he unmasks in Civil War. But
could you
as
imagine
we
if
said,
they did that, though?
If they did that, that would be fucking amazing.
If they managed to do that in Civil War, that would just be the biggest thing probably since the Avengers.
You know what? It would be amazing, but the chances of that happening are very, 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 very slim. The only thing I thought, and I think I said this to you before, just film Civil War with Spider-Man in it in the Spidey costume, and then just do a bit later on, like what they did Empire Strikes Back, where they just do a scene where Spider-Man unmasks.
Yeah.
So they don't know, nobody knows who he is. It's possible. It could be done.
It could
very,
be.
very difficult, but it could be done. I read that everybody who made Age of Ultron were made to burn their scripts so that no leaks could happen. I read that on Digital Spy today. So that's it could happen, but it probably won't.
So who do we fancy? Who do we fancy off the list of 5? Who are we liking?
Well, I think we're down to 2, aren't we? We had this conversation on the road back up, or on the way down. I can't remember which. I think we're down to 2 between us.
We liked Butterfield, didn't we?
Butterfield, who was in Ender's Game and Hugo, and the lad Tom Holland, who was in The Impossible.
The Impossible, yeah. Which me and the wife are going to watch tomorrow night, by the way, so I'll be able to comment on this guy, because I don't know who he is yet.
That's the only thing I've seen him in, but he was brilliant in it.
Interestingly, when I went on IMDb, obviously when the list came out, because I knew who Butterfield was, but the other 4, I had no fucking idea who these kids were.
Yeah.
Even looking at their pictures, I was like, who the hell are these kids? So I looked at that Tom Holland, and one of his credits is in Locked, the Tom Hardy movie.
Oh, really? So he's one of his sons?
So I'm literally sitting there thinking, well, that doesn't fucking help, does it? But yeah, apparently he's one of the sons.
I didn't know that. There you go.
So obviously, he's voice-wise, one of those kids in that film kind of chokes you up a little bit. If he was that one.
Well, if in that case, he's made me cry twice, because I won't lie, I cried at the end of The Impossible as well. So. Well,
like I say, we're gonna get that watched, and I'll comment on him. For me right now, it's Butterfield. I think he's Asa Butterfield from Enders. I'm alright.
He does, from looking at his photo, I would agree that he's got a sort of Peter Parker quality to him.
He's got a weird little head as well.
Yep.
Because Spider-Man always tends to have a bit of a bobblehead, doesn't he? So I think he'd be sound for it. In other Spider-Man news, we've had Sony have confirmed they're doing an animated movie.
Yeah.
Which you and I are both kind of just meh on that.
Yeah, hugely meh.
I think the only thing we liked about it was the fact that it's Chris Miller and Phil Lord, the guys that done Lego Movie and the Jump Street films.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just don't know why they're doing it.
I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it. And I don't think it's needed at all, to be fair.
No, it's not, because Spider-Man is going to be in, 2 huge movies. I mean, obviously he's going to be in Civil War. I mean, we don't know how much he's going to be in Civil War. Could just be a tiny little role. Probably not. I hope not.
I can't imagine it being tiny.
And then in 2017, he's going to be in his own first
Standalone.
Marvel-made standalone movie, which I read a rumour today that it's going to be Spider-Man: The New Avenger.
The New Avenger, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I'd be honest with you, I quite like the sound of that.
I mean, I'd read previously that it was going to be called Spectacular Spider-Man, which is a little bit shit. So I actually prefer Spider-Man: The New Avenger, to be honest.
And obviously we're going to have I'm assuming do you think he'll be in Infinity Wars?
Surely, if they're bringing him in,
Yeah.
it's got to be for the long haul.
He's going to have some
You
sort
can't
of
just
role.
have him in Civil War and then the new Avenger, let's call it, and then just piss off and go back to Sony to, make shit movies again. You've got to keep him in there.
Do you think this is maybe the deal, though, while Marvel has him in the MCU? Because obviously it's like a deal with the devil with Sony, so while he's in the MCU, do you think it's a case of, okay, you can make your animated movie, you can make that, but as far as live action goes, he's ours?
Obviously, Marvel have got a big say. You've mentioned the email that went back and forward between Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal, where she was asking him advice on making Spider-Man 2. So obviously, Marvel clearly cares about the character.
Oh,
Sony,
yeah.
I would like to think that part of the reason that they're giving him partly giving him to Marvel, is because they also like the character and it's not all about the money, but probably not the case.
Probably not, no. Not when they're trying to fucking cash in by having an animated movie.
See, the thing is, though, if you keep on making films that everybody is increasingly hating more and more, not me, by the way, I loved The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I loved Andrew Garfield, and I loved Electro, and whatever.
I still think it's a bit of a dick move not giving Garfield another crack at the whip.
It is completely, aye.
I would have liked to have seen him in the Marvel kind of universe.
It is, they did kind of treat him like a prize cunt, to be honest. I'm clearly in the minority there because there was a lot of hatred towards that movie.
See, I don't think it was the best movie ever, but I don't understand the hate towards it. I really don't.
But people were angry about that movie. They really were. If you keep on churning out increasingly apparently bad stuff like that, then people are going to stop going to see it. So you've got to do something, and giving it back to Marvel so that they can have their and they can make some calls about the character that is basically their, like Batman really is DC's most well-known character.
Yeah.
Maybe in a time with Superman, but Superman is Marvel. That stupid bastard. Spider-Man is Marvel. You can cut that bit.
No, it's staying in.
Spider-Man is Marvel, so they need to let Marvel do their thing there.
Yeah, they kind of just have to give them free rein and let them run with
Yeah.
it. So, is there anything else that you've seen and you
There's
thought,
one more bit of news that I want to mention, and then a little sort of also in the news type thing that I read about today to finish off. So the last bit of news that I want to mention is the first Star Wars spin-off that we know about, Rogue One, which is going to be released in December 2016. It's going to be a heist movie, and it's going to be set before Episode 4, A New Hope, and it's going to be the story of the Rebel Alliance stealing the plans to the Death Star, to the original Death Star.
You know what it is? Every time you talk about this, and every time we get onto this subject, I keep wishing I could like the idea even more. But I still wanted that to be a tie-in movie. I wanted like Episode 8, once they've done Episode 7, I wanted Episode 8, they're going to have a Death Star, and that's what Rogue One was going to be about. But I'm not getting that. Instead, they're making a prequel.
I'm buying it. I'm completely buying it. I am.
I know you're happy with it.
And as I said to you the other week, we finally get to find out how many Bothans died to get them the information.
Are you really that bothered about that?
Not really, but I just wanted to say it. I just wanted to put that out there.
You're just trying to sell it to me.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted from Rogue One, but
But then, at the end of the day, you're voting UKIP, so you're probably not arsed about how many Bothans die.
I'm not even voting for anyone, man. I don't do the vote. But yeah, interestingly, you know how we've been working on the assumption that desert planet is Tatooine.
Yeah.
It's not Tatooine.
Oh.
No. I think it was Mr. Sunday Movies. You know how I told you I was listening to a couple of his podcasts?
Yeah.
Apparently that planet is called Jakku.
Okay.
I'm kind of assuming it's the same space in space. Space in space? Place in space. Like the planets are close, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
The same system.
That's the one, the same system.
Yeah. Bastard.
But yeah, apparently it's called Jakku. But is this has JJ made this up or?
No, it's probably in the expanded universe. I would imagine so.
I mean, I'm cool with JJ making shit up. I mean, JJ's the balls, We keep talking about JJ Vision, and he has tons of it. I'm telling you, I am making that a thing.
You're still not doing a hashtag though. I forbid it.
That's going on our first T-shirt, brought to you by JJ Vision. Or do you think we'd get sued for that?
Well, no, because it's our thing.
Yeah, that's our thing. Copyrighted, patented, done. Bosh. Next.
Right. Last thing. I read today about a movie that Adam Sandler is making. Apparently it's for Netflix, and it's going to be based sort of in the Old West.
Oh, is this the one with the Indians walking off?
Basically, yeah. He's
Yeah.
managed to piss off the entire nation of Native Americans. Who they all walked off set because he had the women in the movie having. I mean, I'm assuming that he's written it.
Well, of course he's written it.
It's been saying it's an Adam Sandler movie, so I'm assuming that he's written it. But yes, so some of the names for the Indian women that
you know already this is going to be good.
that have made them walk off set. First one they had was Beaver's Breath.
Excellent. I like that one.
The second one was No Bra.
No bra. You know what it is? Adam Sandler, he's just fucking contracted movie AIDS, basically.
He has, yes.
And I'm sick of the man.
And apparently the thing that really put the nail in the coffin was they had a scene where they had a Native American woman smoking one of their peace pipes.
Right.
While squatting to have a piss.
Oh my god. Is he just
it's
going
like,
for...
You know what it's like? He's still in sort of 1980s comedy land.
Yeah.
Where that kind of thing is okay.
He's never quite come out of it though, has he?
Well, the last movie that I saw him in and thought it was alright was The Wedding Singer.
Jesus, you're going back quite far there, aren't you?
And you know what? I've tried to watch movies of his since then, and he's just shit. Apparently from that, he's just lost it. He's just completely lost the plot.
Oh, he's just a tool, man. I put him on the same level as Seth MacFarlane, if I'm totally honest with you. He's just not funny. I know you like Seth MacFarlane, but I just don't find him funny. I think the last thing I had was Galaxy Quest is getting a TV show, and I feel that's, it's neither here nor there.
I like Galaxy Quest. So
I loved Galaxy Quest. I mean, if they can get some of the cast, I'll be happy. If they don't get the cast, I'm not bothered. I'm still going to give that a watch.
I don't think they'll get the cast, to be honest.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, Sigourney Weaver's off making Alien 5 and Avatar 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6.
Are they making more Avatar movies?
Oh, yeah.
I thought
they're making 2 and 3 back to back, apparently.
I thought they just knocked that in the head because everybody realised how shit of an actor Sam Worthington is.
No. They're still making it as far as I'm aware. I've not read anything about it being cancelled. I think it's been pushed back. I've got no interest in seeing that whatsoever.
But it took him like 15 years to make Avatar, and it was terrible.
It was. I mean, yeah, it looked amazing and whatever.
You know your movie's in trouble when you call something unobtainium.
Yeah. For me, the bit where I thought, fuck this, was, I don't know, it was about 2/3 of the way in, and I realised that I was basically watching a Pocahontas, but with blue people.
Yeah, you can make that distinction.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
It's there to be made. The white people killing the blue people, it's there to be made.
Coming there for their land and their unobtainium.
Nothing to do with race. Nothing at all. So that's kind of the news roundup.
Yes.
We didn't have very much to talk about last time. We've had a bit more this time. Oh, also, Daredevil renewed for Series 2. So, yeah. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. Everybody knows that. Buckle up for some pimpage, folks. Thank you all for checking out the 365Flicks podcast, the podcast that loves dropping its verbal load all over your earholes. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podomatic, and musingsofageek.com. Why not drop by the Facebook page? Like us, share us, and drop us a comment. You'll find us at facebook.com/365flicks.com, or you can even hit us up on the Twitter bird, twitter.com/365flickspod. Then, of course, there's the YouTube channel for all those people who like to have some pictures to go along with the words. Get yourself on YouTube, type in 365Flicks, and you'll find our playlist. So why don't you like, follow, share, rate, review, comment, subscribe, and repeat. Do you need something new and refreshing to listen to? Get your ass to musingsofageek.com, where you can find such geeky and entertaining podcasts as History of Bad Ideas. The HOBI gang discuss all things geek in comics, movies, and TV, and pretty much everyday life. Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks. Neil and Annalise discuss the geekier side of their lives. Tune in each week. That'll Play podcast with Matt and John. They cover the spectrum. Good luck on the live episode, guys. How is this movie? Dana was my first pod subscription, and I never looked back. He's interesting and informative, yet entertaining. Then of course there's the flagship show, Musings of a Geek podcast. These guys cover it all. A lot of fun to listen to, I have to say. And of course you have Graphic Novice. It's all comics all the time. If you want to know about comics, listen to this show. Before I leave you, I want to give a big shout out to William Mill, the creator of our guitar shredding intro. Do us a favour and show Will the love. Check his awesome video metal tracks at soundcloud.com/girlsmelon. That's GIRLZ-melon. If you like what you hear, why not go and check his videos on the YouTubes? Simply type in Girls Melon. Look for him on Facebook. Search for Girls Melon. Like, share, comment and show the love, because I think we all agree talent deserves credit. And if you do happen to take some time out of your day to go and check out these guys, whether it be the podcasts, whether it be Will's guitar shredding, don't forget to let them know who sent you. It was 365Flicks. And now it's back to the lads at 365Flicks HQ, our vocal heroes of pissy opinion. Last Wednesday or Thursday, Avengers 2 came out, Avengers Age of Ultron. So we decided, as 365Flicks podcast, we would go and watch it so we could review it. I will say now, this is quite possibly going to be very it is going to be very spoilery, because that's, you know, how else
yeah,
do you
we're
talk
not going to
about
go into it in too much depth, but
no,
there are going to be spoilers.
So if you don't want to hear what happens, if you don't want to know the twists, if you don't want to think anything else other than what you want to think about the film, skip past this bit and get on to the next bit, which is going to be the top 5 comic book supervillains movies things. So let's get into this. So Avengers Age of Ultron, what did you think, Chris?
I absolutely loved it from start to finish.
Start to finish, frame by frame.
Yes, it was the best Marvel movie to date for me.
You still going with that? I know you said that on the Facebook page. You said that you said gonna be brave, putting it out there. Best Marvel movie made yet. Me personally, I'll never ever. I don't think I'll ever, even after watching this movie about 10-15 times, I'm not gonna say I don't like the movie, because I did like the movie. I loved the movie. I thought it was a great film. I had my gripes, as everybody seems to be having, but at the end of the day, as far as this being Joss Whedon's last crack at the Avengers, we hope it's not. But if it is, he's leaving.
I don't think, maybe not another Avengers movie, but I really hope that he comes in and directs Spider-Man.
It would be a fanboy's wet dream, if I'm totally honest.
That would be me sent over the edge if he did that, to be honest.
If Whedon picked up Spider-Man and ran with it, it would A, be a fantastic movie, and B, it would be the Spider-Man we actually deserve.
Exactly. Probably not going to happen, but we can dream.
I read the thing on comicbookmovie.com about the fact that at one point Whedon wanted to direct Wonder Woman for DC.
Yeah, I did read that, yeah.
Which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Could you see him?
I don't think he'd leap to DC now.
Could you see it? Do you think he'd ever work at Marvel again?
I would hope so.
I would like to think that Whedon could make that jump. However, DC's a bit fucking dark, isn't it?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. With the writing in Avengers Assemble and the writing even more so in Age of Ultron being so fucking funny, you can't really put that in a moody as fuck.
You couldn't really have Batman and Superman quipping away.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't have them standing there doing like that, like Cap and Tony Stark. You couldn't have that with Batman and Superman. It just wouldn't work at all.
It wouldn't work, but it'd be fucking interesting.
It would. It would be more like how it should have ended Cappy's scene then.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just thinking. It would be nice to see Batman kind of bouncing around like the Riddler.
I think we're in the wrong movie there. That's more Adam West territory.
Yeah.
So no, I can't see that happening. I kind of get the impression that, well, he said he needs a break from Marvel. We've mentioned in the past the pressure that there must have been on the guy trying to top Avengers Assemble. To me, he did it. He absolutely, totally did it with Age of Ultron. Mm-hmm. But the pressure that must have been on him to do that, we can't even imagine. So
I think the thing for me with that is in the run up to Avengers Assemble, you had what did you have? You had 5 movies, and about 3 of them were good. Because Iron Man was good, Thor was good, Captain America was meh. It was all right. I'm not 100% on Captain America.
I don't think I would put it up there with Thor and Iron Man, but it was all right. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be.
And then you had Avengers Assemble came out the gate, and it was just, you got to see these guys together, and it was awesome. Whereas personally, my own personal point of view, and I know you'll argue the toss with this, but when you were getting up to Age of Ultron, you only really had Captain America 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy that were just brilliant films. Personally, I still put Guardians above Ultron. So Ultron came out, and my god, did it not just fucking start. It basically starts with a huge set piece where the Avengers are taking down a Hydra facility, which, as I've said to you when we were coming home in the car, I wanted a bit more kind of the crack with Hydra. I wanted more of that, and
you did say that, yeah. I mean, to me, that's all I wanted. I wanted them to sort of touch on it. I wasn't expecting them to jump straight into action with a big set piece. I was expecting a bit of talking first. I was completely happy with that. It was one hell of a set piece. Some great one-liners in there and some funny moments and all that. I was happy with that level of Hydra in it. I didn't really want any more than that.
Yeah, I suppose you can't really dwell on it too much because you've got like a 2.5-hour movie where you've got to defeat Ultron, basically.
Well, that's it. You've got to build Ultron up. He's got to take the Avengers down. Then they've got to come back and do their thing. If you're spending too much time on Hydra from another movie, that takes it away from Ultron. So that was that. They mentioned it. They got the spear back, which led us into the events of the proper events of the movie. So I was fine with that. I was absolutely fine.
I suppose as well you've got to throw in some tie-in scenes. You've got to throw in some Black Panther references, and so I mean, yeah. I don't know. Just at the time, I was kind of like, surely there's a bit more fallout from Hydra than this, than a couple of throwaway lines. But yeah, I suppose you're right. You can't really dwell on that when you're doing the big ensemble piece, can you?
Well, that's it. It takes time away from James Spader, so we can't be having that.
No, we can't have that at all. We can't. So basically, they're taking down the Hydra facility, like you say, it's a fantastic set piece. And it just, without doing the whole, we're getting the band back together, we're getting the team back together, they go around each character in that set piece. You get a little bit of Thor, you get a little bit of Hulk, you get a little bit of Captain America, you get a bit of Iron Man flying around, you get a bit of Hawkeye, then you get that glory shot when they're all flying sideways.
The slow motion bit, that was really nice. I like that.
I have to admit, when I saw it in the trailer, I was kind of like, ugh, really? But then when I saw it in the movie, I was like, oh, that's badass. I don't know if it was just because it was like big fuck off IMAX 3D, but I think
that's probably what it was, to be honest.
I was just sat there like, how fucking cool is that? Just give me the postcard now and I'll send it to my buddies.
Yeah, I mean, there's no comparison when you're watching it on a little wee screen on YouTube.
No, nah.
To watching it on big fuck off IMAX 3D. There's
no. So they get in the facility. Tony Stark goes in, Iron Man goes in. This is where we kind of meet Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch for the first time.
Yep.
And at this point, we don't know that they have terrible, dodgy accents, but we'll get there. And this is all. You also liked that scene as well, didn't you? I mean, let's be honest. Tony Stark's pretty fucking big in this movie as well.
Well, he is, but I think that they all got the right sort of screen time. Maybe Iron Man got a little bit more. Joss Whedon did an absolutely spot on job of dividing up the screen time properly with them.
Well, let's be honest, it couldn't have been easy.
You've got some pretty big names in there,
and you've got to satisfy them all.
So if you fuck that up with one character getting more than he should, then that really the deck of cards just completely folds. So no, I don't think that at all. I think it was right enough.
So like I say, we meet Scarlet Witch and we meet Quicksilver. They kind of take down that facility. Baron von Strucker totally pussies out. That was a great little scene when he's kind of like telling them that we will not retreat, we will not surrender, and he turns around and the guy's like, what we're going to do? And he's like, I'm going to surrender. I quite like that. But I mean, as we've said when we watched the movie, when we came out, it's just got Whedon written all over it.
Yeah. And
it's a perfect blend of what he does, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Yeah, I've mentioned this little scene before when Tony Stark is sort of underground and he's sort of feeling about the wall
Yeah.
and he's going, "Oh, please be a secret door, please be a secret door," and he finds it and he goes, "Yay!" That is just Joss Whedon all over it. It's like the funniest moments of Buffy, and Angel and all
Yeah.
that, and Firefly. It just was just Joss Whedon at his best.
But Downey Jr. and as Tony Stark, he gets a lot of those in this movie. He gets a lot of. I mean, they all
Yeah.
do. I can't say they don't all get them. I mean, even Hawkeye gets a few good lines. We'll talk about Hawkeye in a little bit. But even he gets a few good lines. I think the only person who really got shafted in this movie was probably Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch? No, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, yeah, she didn't really have all that many.
She was basically the Hawkeye of Avengers Assemble. That's what she kind of becomes in this movie. She just kind of gets pushed to the side a little bit. Apart from the whole story with her and the Hulk, which we'll talk about in a bit.
I mean, she was pretty important to the story, wasn't she? I can't really say I'd thought about it. I never really noticed.
Just to me, it seemed very like, apart from her talking the Hulk down in a
Yeah.
couple of scenes, and then telling him that she can't have a baby because she's sterile, and he's all like, that's okay because my Hulk knob would snap you anyway. Like, apart from those little scenes, I'm obsessed with the Hulk knob
You are, yes.
because I couldn't believe they addressed it. I just thought, how cool are you guys? You're totally addressing the fact that you can't actually buck her. So, what is the point? So they have a party, they have a big celebration party, and I mentioned the fact that this scene just flows effortlessly. Like, it was my first real kind of, Joss Whedon's got his shit together now, like.
Yeah.
Because it was just going around the party, and you must have had everybody in that scene. Everybody was there.
Yeah, I think so. I'd say everybody apart from Sam Jack, but everybody else. You had Maria
Yeah.
Hill in there. You had the Falcon in there. You had Don Cheadle. Cody Rhodes, is it? No, that's a wrestler.
Dusty Rhodes.
No, that's a wrestler.
War Machine.
Something Rhodes. Something Rhodes, isn't it?
It's something Rhodes. Rhodey.
Rhodes. Rhodey. That'll do. Go with that. You had the Avengers in there too. Yeah, it was a fantastic scene.
It was a great scene, capped off by them all trying to lift Thor's hammer, which we'd already seen because they showed us that, And you know what? It didn't bother me that they showed us that. It was still a brilliant scene.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't sat there thinking, seen it.
So they're having this little bit of a party, and while that's all going on, Ultron basically creates himself and then comes out, and as in the trailer we saw him when he's all jerky and shit and he's all puppet-like, and which, by the way, they didn't really give us much of that song, did they?
Much of the song.
No.
Did he not sing it at one? He sang it at one point, didn't he?
It was a big part of the trailer. It was all like, there are no strings on me, and I'm sure he mentions it maybe once,
That
twice.
did actually upset me, is the bit in the trailer where he actually specifically says, "There are no strings on me." He didn't actually say that in the movie. But, it's a little thing. It wasn't...
See, though, it's interesting you say that because another podcast that I listened to is Skip to the End, and they done a review, and I had a little listen to it last night before we started to record, and one of the guys on there, and it was something I hadn't noticed, he basically said that in the trailer they cheated to fuck because there was a few lines that they took from other parts of the movie and put it in the scenes that it wasn't even there.
Right.
And he says they do it a couple of times in the trailer, and it never really dawned on me. And it's interesting that you're saying that now, but it never dawned on me.
No, I didn't. I just figured that they cut it. That's all. I didn't really sort of pay all that much attention to it. I mean, there were so many other standout James Spader, Ultron, fantastic as hell moments.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that he didn't say there are no strings on me didn't really grate on me at all. It was just a little thing that I noticed is all.
Well, you noticed that, I never, so.
Yeah.
So Ultron comes out and he busts all that shit up, and basically you have quite a good little set piece there where the Avengers are all taking down the Iron Legion, as they call it, which it's just an extension of Iron Man 3, which I don't want to talk about right now. So Ultron turns himself into the internet kind of shit. But
I don't know. It's just a way to get him from suit to suit, isn't it? Because throughout the movie he does go into different sort of levels of kick-assness.
Yeah.
From the rickety sort of bust up Iron Legion robot at the start to the first Ultron, then to the second one, then there's a third one, isn't there?
Yeah, I think he's like Ultimate Ultron towards
Aye.
the end, isn't he?
Aye.
When he's like made of the vibranium and shit.
Yeah. So, it's just a way for him. It's just a sort of writing trick to get him from suit to suit, I guess.
Yeah.
Because all of the suits must have Wi-Fi built in.
I would hope so.
If they're if you're building an Ultron robot, you've got to have a bit of Wi-Fi, surely.
Well, he's got that USB slot that he uses towards the end of the movie in the back of his head, so...
That's true.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to be Windows 98 compatible as well.
Probably, I'm assuming he's not
every
rocking
alien thing is as
Windows compatible.
Yeah.
I hope it's not Windows Vista, because that shit bothers me. That was like the worst one.
I think it was Windows ME. So.
Oh my god, ME. so the Avengers, Ultron goes to get vibranium because he wants to make himself solid as fuck. So he goes to Wakanda. It's a tie-in for the Black Panther movie, is basically what we're assuming. They go there to get the vibranium, and this is where we meet Andy Serkis, who puts in quite a good performance, but I am not having that accent. I'm still not having that accent.
You see, that it really didn't bother me. I noticed it a little bit, but it didn't bother me.
It's just the fact that the accents in this movie are so fucking terrible. Quicksilver's accent, Scarlet Witch, bless her cotton socks, she was trying. She was bloody trying.
But as she sounded English a couple of times, and then she sounded American a couple of times. So maybe a little bit of Welsh. I don't know.
Did she ever sound Russian? Because I wasn't hearing it.
Maybe once. I don't know.
Kick-Ass was doing a pretty decent Russian accent.
Kick-Ass was alright. He was okay.
But it's not hard when you're just doing quippy one-liners.
But, I mean, the thing is, I think I said this to you in the car on the way back up, with Andy Serkis, I kind of thought, when I noticed the accent was a little bit dodgy, I thought, you've got one chance, you're finally playing showing up as yourself.
Yeah.
And not a little gimp or a fucking ape or whatever he's going to be in Star Wars. You're finally getting it on the screen yourself. Get out, fucking accent coach.
Plus, we're assuming he's going to be in Black Panther because he's the big villain of Black Panther.
Well, that's what everybody said. He's
Ulysses Claw.
Ulysses Claw. He's apparently the main villain in Black Panther. I really don't know anything about Black Panther, but I
don't know a great deal about it. And to be fair, it's one of those ones that I think I'd be happy at going in blind to Black Panther.
Yeah, I'm. The still that they released of the character, I think he looks pretty badass. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
And let's be honest, he's been made a prize 8 tit when it comes to the Civil War movie. So
yeah, I'm assuming he's still going to be in there.
But you're not bothered
because
you've got your
because he was like, I'm not bothered. I'm really not arsed. He can be a little extra, but it must be a bit shit for the actor who's been cast as Black Panther, because Black Panther was going to be the backup if they didn't get Spider-Man, wasn't he?
Well, they did that whole thing in the El Capitan Theatre when they kind of announced we're doing Civil War, and they had Robert Downey Jr. came out, Chris Evans came out, and then they brought him out in the middle, which was a definite Civil War.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, we got Spider-Man. No, go away. They just sacked him
It is
off.
a little bit crappy. It's a bit of a dick move, but I don't care. Spider-Man's in it, so Spider-Man's in, you're out. Deal with it.
And it's in Wakanda that we start seeing the true, well, not so much. Well, yeah, it's the true extent of what Scarlet Witch can actually do.
Yeah.
Because she starts doing the mind trick on people, and she's like, she gets Romanoff, and we get to see her doing some ballet kind of thing, which, to be honest, looked like it would have been a bloody good movie. Like
it's a bit sort of Jason Bourne type
yeah.
stuff, wasn't it? It was cool. It was.
It kind of.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm saying she got shafted. She didn't get shafted, because that little scene there, it built a lot of depth into a character that I didn't really give two shits about. So yeah, they've done alright with her. Thor gets done, and Thor's all like fucked up in Asgard, and you see Idris Elba, nice little cameo for Idris. And we kind of thought he was gonna get screwed over.
Yeah.
And it seems that they've kept him in there.
I actually thought Tom Hiddleston was going to be in it.
Well, they said that, didn't they? And kind of he didn't show up.
Maybe in the extended version.
Possibly.
Maybe there's like more to the dream or something like that we didn't get to see because it had to be cut.
Because the extended version apparently is like 3 hours long. It's like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I can't wait to see.
Definitely.
Because if there's one thing that movie needs, it's an extra hour. And she hits Cap, and Cap gets Peggy Carter flashbacks, which
yeah,
I think
we couldn't really decide what that was supposed to mean. It's something to do with being forgotten about after the war or something.
you kind of
Felt
thought
on
it was
his
just
own.
a plug for the Peggy Carter series.
I did kind of think that, yeah, truth be told. But, you know.
We can't go 10 minutes without seeing Haley Atwell. You know what I mean? It's not a TV show I'm watching, and from what I've read,
I've not seen it. Like, I think I've heard it's in trouble.
Well, from what I've read, not a lot of people are watching it, so
Yeah.
maybe a quick Avengers 2 plug gets it made.
So Scarlet Witch is fucked with them all. They're all out of action. Then she fucks with the Hulk, who then goes into the city, starts tearing shit up. So then we get the most kick-ass, amazing looking fight set piece of the movie, where it's Hulkbuster versus the Hulk. And I mean, what can you say about that scene? That, you know, it was just amazing.
As I said to you, if that had have been an Iron Man movie or a Hulk movie, Hulk versus Iron Man type movie,
yeah.
that's your end fight right there. That's the meat and potatoes of the movie, is that end fight with them two, because it was fucking excellent. I do think Joss kind of blew his load on that scene a little bit, to the point where the end battle was just a bit of a whimper, not so much a bang.
I wouldn't say that. I think it was still pretty epic.
But it was nothing like
the
it was nothing like the Battle of New York, though. Which the Battle of New York was massive. It was huge.
Yeah.
And they did pretty much take a couple of scenes and say, we'll just do it this way in this movie. Nobody will know that it's the same. But, you know, I'm going to let him off because it's Joss Whedon.
You know what? I mean, yeah, after you said that in the car, I did kind of sort of see what you meant, but it didn't bother me. You know, it was still bloody brilliant. So,
but you know what I'm like? The movie could be perfect, and I could love the bones of it. I'm still gonna pick it a little bit. You know what I'm like? I can't help myself.
That's true. Yeah.
But that scene, as I said to you, like when you go and watch a big 3D kind of IMAX movie and that, and when you have big action set sequences like that, sometimes you're missing things. Sometimes you're not seeing everything. I think Joss nailed every frame of that fight.
Definitely.
And there was at no point did I think that my eyes were getting sore. They were getting a bit tired from running around the screen. Like, it was just brilliant. Effortless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they have the big battle, and obviously that's kind of when Hulk starts doubting himself.
Well, he's lost his way, and, you know, he said to Natasha, like, that's the first time you've seen the real Hulk.
Yeah.
So basically after that, they're all fucked. So they retreat to what's his name, Hawkeye's sort of farm, hidden family thing. I'm guessing you're going to want to have a bit gripe here, so go ahead.
Now, this is my biggest gripe in the movie, and you know it was my biggest gripe when we walked out the cinema. And it was just, they took the character who in the last movie got 6 lines. Joss didn't bother with him that much, to the fact that he got Loki-pokeyed and mind melded. And it was just like, and then in this movie, they tried to make him such a big, huge character that just made me think, you are gonna fucking die, mate.
Yeah.
In this last battle, the one thing I know is Hawkeye's gonna die, because he now has a wife, he now has 2 kids, and guess what? He's got a 3rd on the way. In his perfect little farm that nobody knows anything about, you're dead.
Yeah, I agree with you. It did scream. It just sort of screamed like, you know, Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
Where if he's happy, somebody's getting dead.
So he is getting dead.
You know.
And that's not us spoiling the end of the movie, because he doesn't fucking die. They done a pretty big dick move and somebody else dies, but we'll get there. So I'm not going to dwell too much on that, because I ranted like a bastard about it in the car.
You did. You know what? I didn't really care. You know what? It's just Whedon. He can do what he wants, so shut the hell up. Basically.
This is pretty much when Ultron has done his job, and all the Avengers are pretty much fractured. You know, Cap and Tony aren't happy with each other. They kind of just, because Tony tried to play God and create AI, so Cap's like, oh, fuck you, you done this. Thor disappears because he needs to go to the Lazarus pit to remember what his nightmare was about. Hawkeye's alright, he's all happy and stuff. Scarlet Witch isn't too chuffed because she wants to leave with the Hulk and make a baby, but she can't because of his Hulk knob. And then...
Again with the Hulk knob.
Well, what do you want me... How often do you watch a movie, a superhero movie, where they address this? Like, if I watch that Fantastic Four movie and they don't talk about his rock knob, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, moving on. Just, alright, move on. Move on. So there's a whole big thing, they're all to fuck. Sam Jack comes back, didn't really need him. Meanwhile, Ultron is sort of starting to build a human body for himself.
Yeah.
So he starts to upload it. We get another set piece where the Avengers try and get the body back from him. So that's, we get a nice sort of Matrix-y type thing where they're trying to get... Sorry, the dog just kicked me in my back. Where they're trying to get the body away from him. So we've got that nice little set piece there as well. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Where Cap is fighting Ultron on top of the van and all that kind of thing. Fine, yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. Nothing compared to Hulkbuster, but then so after that we get.
It was kind of.
I don't think we need to.
It was kind of like the Matrix Reloaded, wasn't it? Like you're saying on the freeway scene when Morpheus is fighting Agent Smith. Much better. I totally never even thought of that.
And you got Natasha sort of going in between the traffic on the bike and all that.
Just like Trinity.
That just jumped out of my head.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so after that we get the Ultron then goes back to the city in, is it Ukraine, or it's like a made up country in that sort of area, isn't it?
Or something.
So that's like the sort of the end game now. He's wanting to go into no, they've got the body now, haven't they? And they've created Vision.
Yeah, they get the body. Yeah, they create Vision.
So they've got 3 new Avengers basically. They've got Vision, they've got Scarlet Witch, and they've got Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So they all go to this city and made up country for the big end fight with Ultron. So basically, Ultron's plan is, I'm going to lift this city up and drop it.
In a nutshell. And I know they've got like three new Avengers in this scene, and War Machine even turns up as well, and then Nick Fury turns up.
Falcon as well at one point, didn't he?
There was quite...
Falcon's in there, doesn't he?
No, he comes in at the end.
Does he? I thought Falcon was in that bit.
He might. I can't remember if he was. I don't think he was. He might have been. Do you not think there was too much going on?
I don't know. I think they just sort of... They wanted it to be complete chaos because...
Yeah. Because that's what
Ultron's got his big robot army, and obviously they're... See, the way I thought that they were going was the way that the Civil War story start in the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Is there's a massive fuck off explosion.
Right.
And there's sort of like, I don't know, like 1,000 people killed, and there's a school hit, and all the children are dead, and all that. So there's a big devastating event that starts off the Civil War and starts the politicians getting involved and trying to score points against the Avengers and all that kind of thing. So I actually thought that when Ultron had his plan of lifting up the city high enough that it was going to basically be like a big asteroid hitting the Earth, I actually thought that he was going to kind of succeed.
Yeah.
And then it was going to drop and it was going to wipe out like half a continent or something like that.
That would have been pretty cool.
That's what I thought was going to happen, to lead us into the Civil War thing. But
it would have been nice to have a proper down ending like that as well, wouldn't it?
Well, something's got to happen to we'll talk about the sort of the big end scene first. I mean, you've got there is chaos. Everybody's running around doing their thing, fighting the army. Just like New York again, I guess. Then you've got the big, fantastic ass looking scene in the middle of the battle, where basically the Avengers are guarding the key to.
Yeah.
If one of the Ultron robots touches the key, then the city will drop.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So the Avengers are guarding that. You've got all the robots trying to get in to touch this thing, and the Avengers are doing their thing, and you've got a sort of rotating shot of the battle,
just total slow motion.
It's just fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
It was.
And I've said to you before, that's why 3D is still around.
Yeah, you mentioned that, yeah. Because I got a bit of shit, didn't I, on my Facebook, people who was saying, like, oh, is 3D still a thing? And like, I always thought 3D was going to be a bit of a fad, but you're totally right, like, that is why it's still there.
And I think as long as people, you've got these types of movies, I'm hoping that Star Wars has some kick-ass bloody 3D. Fortunately, we didn't get to see the trailer in 3D, which I was a little bit disappointed
Well, you
by.
would have thought of all the trailers, that's the
It
one
was
we
in
would have got.
2D,
It didn't make sense.
which it didn't make sense, no. So I'm assuming it's real 3D and not a conversion.
JJ's not a massive 3D fan though.
No, he's not.
So I wouldn't be
He's not.
surprised.
Because Star Trek Into Darkness was a conversion. I think it will be real 3D. I imagine Star Wars, but as long as you've got people like Whedon, like
Peter Jackson does it quite well.
I forgot his name there, and not so much the last Hobbit film because I'm not really bothered about seeing it again.
No,
I'm really not.
that's surprising.
It's out on Blu-ray now, and my dad asked me the other day, are you buying this? And my answer was, meh. I'm really not bothered about seeing it again.
We did a review on The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, and that's on our YouTube channel. Go and look for that. Nice little plug there.
Yeah. Sorry, I went off topic there. But yeah, as long as people like that are doing movies like that with set pieces like the bit where they're guarding the key, like in Desolation Smaug, where you've got the bit where they're in the barrels going down the river. That was fucking amazing. Scenes like that is what is going to keep 3D going, and that's why they should make it. They should continue to make it in real 3D.
And that particular scene you're on about in Ultron is probably, I mean, the Hulk Buster and versus the Hulk is amazing, but that one tiny set piece, that like probably 30-40 seconds of film is just, it's just pure mind blowing for me. Like, we've seen stuff like that, but not quite like that.
Yeah, it was definitely it was something else. I mean, what else do you say?
So you have the big battle. Obviously, Ultron is defeated. Vision kind of blows him up, kind of thing, and then they all retire peacefully.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say is, how do you get from that where Hawkeye's on his farm alive?
Oh yeah, because Quicksilver dies, by the way, not Hawkeye. I'm assuming that's Marvel's way of saying fuck you to Fox. That's kind of where I'm going with it.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought of that, but why not? Iron Man's pretty much retired. He drove off on his... Anyway, so Thor's gone back to Asgard to find out what the fuck's going on. The Hulk is away being all, broody and stuff.
Listening to Nirvana.
So basically, you've got 3 new Avengers at the end of the movie. You've got Vision. You've got... you've got 4, haven't you? You've got Vision, Scarlet Witch, Iron Patriot, and the Falcon.
Don't call him Iron Patriot. It's War Machine.
Oh, God.
Stop calling him Iron Patriot.
It's called Iron Patriot, all right?
Right, so that's your new team. That's and they're all being led by Cap and Black Widow. So we're kind of assuming that is the new Avengers, but obviously when you come to Civil War, that could easily change.
Well, that's it. That's the idea of it. Everything's gonna go to shit. So
my big thing about that whole scene was it was a nice little scene. It was a nice little way to end the movie, kind of like the way they ended Avengers Assemble. Kind of everybody sort of parting ways a little bit.
Yeah.
But like you say, how on earth are we going to get to Civil War from there? Because they were all pretty much pals.
Well, they were. That's the thing.
There was
Captain
nothing
America
there.
and Tony Stark were still sort of hitting off each other,
Yeah.
like best pals and all
mates.
that. If still kill Ultron, fair enough, or don't. But they have to have their victory over Ultron, fair enough.
Yeah.
But if they'd had a sort of thing where Ultron has caused all this desolation and thousands of people have died and all that kind of thing, it does kind of it leads it into a place where maybe there could be some infighting because they think they failed and all that. That's where I thought it was going, but obviously not.
Because let's be honest, there's 2 points in this movie where Tony Stark has the chance to take the advice of his fellow Avengers and basically tells them to fuck off.
Yeah.
So, where's the animosity there? There isn't. So that's the Avengers Age of Ultron. Looking really forward to seeing Civil War now.
Definitely can't come quick enough.
I think I'm still quite happy with what Marvel's doing, and I'll definitely check out Ant-Man.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to say no, absolutely not, after the whole Guardians of the Galaxy debacle.
Well, exactly, because for those who don't know, and for those who haven't listened to the earlier episodes, Chris was dead against Guardians of the Galaxy, and I kept telling him to watch it. And there is actually an episode where you did apologise for your ignorance. So you had like an awards kind of thing that you wanted to do, instead of doing like a rating system like 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, we decided to just give out some awards.
Yeah, we've not got a statue or anything. We're not made of money, but virtual awards.
Virtue awards?
That'll be fun.
Awardies?
Bit wanky, but the 365s.
365s, I like that.
Yeah, that's what we'll call them. Right, okay. So funniest moment or funniest line in the movie? What do we think?
Funniest moment, funniest line. No, it was definitely the Hulkbuster when he's got the Hulk by the throat and he's using the piston arm just to punch him in the face, and it cuts to Tony Stark and he keeps on going, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Yes, yeah, that for me was, I would agree with you there. Yeah, I mean there were a lot of sort of laugh out loud funny moments in the movie. There really were, but I think that one was up there.
We haven't mentioned it as well, but if I'm still gonna go with the Hulkbuster, but Stan Lee's cameo in this movie is the best cameo yet for me.
It was, yes. He drank some, what was it, like sort of Asgard juice.
Asgardian juice.
And he's pissed and goes, Excelsior.
To be fair, everyone in the cinema was howling. However, I'm sticking with the Hulkbuster.
I'm going. Yeah, I mean, there are so many to mention.
Oh, some brilliant lines in that movie.
But we'll leave it for people who haven't seen the movie yet, who are maybe giving this a try, find out the funny moments for themselves. So the next award is for the best original Avenger in the movie.
Original Avenger in the movie. I went Thor all the way. I thought Chris Hemsworth was having such a fucking ball in this movie.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, he had a hell of a lot of funny scenes. He had some kick-ass scenes as well.
Yeah.
In particular, the scene where he comes in and takes control of the fight between Cap and Tony Stark.
Oh yeah.
And, uses the lightning to bring Vision to life. That was pretty cool. I'm actually gonna go with Iron Man.
Yeah.
I just think that I think that the Iron Man had a lot of class scenes in the film.
He did, and he went through the ringer in the movie. To be fair, this
he did.
This is a man who, let's be honest, he was still trying to forget Iron Man 3 ever happened. So he went through the ringer here. So yeah, I'll let you have that one. That's a good one. But for me, it was just, you mentioned when we spoke about it, you mentioned the fact that Chris Hemsworth seemed to be having a good time because he had some decent writers there, like Whedon was writing him well.
Yes, as opposed to sort of the Dark World.
Because the Dark World
was
fucking atrocious.
Crap, really.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is the best new Avenger.
I really wanted to go Quicksilver, but Quicksilver died, and that upset me. I thought he was brilliant, to be fair, so I can't go with him. So I'm going to go with Vision on that one. I know we did the same thing last night and I said Falcon, but when I really think about it, it's got to go to Vision for me.
Yeah, you see, I'm still going Scarlet Witch.
She was good.
She was good. Accent aside, I think she was really kick-ass, and she didn't have many lines. She was a bit of a sort of tragic character.
Yeah.
Her family had died and all that stuff. But I mean, I think like sort of the whole magic thing, I was a little bit worried about that.
They
about
pulled
how
it
they were
off.
going to bring it into it, but they definitely pulled it
off. Great.
And I'm looking forward to seeing more of her sort of magiciness in Civil War. So the next one was best overall character in the movie.
I think if we're going to go best overall character, I'll probably go for Scarlet Witch on that one. Because she, like you say, she was a tragic character. And she'd been fucked, like. Not in a good way.
Yeah, she had kind of lost pretty much everything.
Yeah. And
then found the Avengers at the end of the movie. So yeah, I guess so. I went with Ultron.
Yeah.
James Spader as Ultron. I said this on the way up in the car. I think that was pretty much the first thing I said when we got into the car was we knew that Spader was going to be brilliant, but fuck me, I didn't realise how damn good he was going to be.
He was incredible.
So yeah, it's Ultron for me as the best character. So last bit, best scene or best set piece. I mean, I think we've only got a choice of two, really, haven't we? But
yeah, I'm gonna go with that revolving shot at the keystone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick with the Hulkbuster.
The Hulkbuster's a fantastic scene, but I literally, when that scene happened, we'd seen it in the trailer. We saw when it kind of comes in and you get the overshot of it, and you get sort of a little bit of it in the trailers. You don't get much of it, But I was absolutely just like, my eyes were just like, boom, like, wow. So that for me was just, that was amazing. And like you say, it's why 3D's still there. But the Hulkbuster scene is impressive as fuck as well. And it's a big fight, but at no point did it feel like it was dragging on.
No, I could have had it go on longer, to be honest.
Age of Ultron, get your asses out to see it if you haven't seen it. I put it to the Facebook and the Twitter for people who had seen it, forgetting that half the Musings family that I put it onto for the Musings of the Geek Podcast Network, they're in America, as we said early, so they haven't actually seen it yet.
Yeah.
I felt like a bit of a dick for that, but I forgot.
Well, it is an unusually long space.
It seems it for me.
Between the release dates, it's weird.
Yeah, but we got a couple of responses off on the Facebook Major Movies. Like you said, you had a bit of a crack with him about it.
Yeah.
One of my buds, Kev Wright, he put a big thing on. Like he generally loved the movie, didn't have anything bad to say about it. Had his reservations going in, but came out sold. He says he's now a Whedon whore, the same as you now. So
happy days.
So there's two of you. So Age of Ultron.
It's almost a club.
It's almost a club. And like I say, I listened to the Skip to the End podcast, and they were really underwhelmed. Like they said they liked the movie the same as like I was saying. I can't say I didn't like the movie. I did like the movie. I loved the movie, in fact. But they said they were a little bit underwhelmed by it. I wouldn't go as far to say that myself.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there was no way in hell, me being me, and you know how much I like Joss Whedon. There was no way in hell I wasn't going to love that movie. There just wasn't.
No.
So I mean, me personally, I don't understand how people are underwhelmed by it. But you know, each to their own and all that sort of thing.
That's why we do what we are doing. That's the conversation. That's why we're having it.
Exactly.
So if you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it. I think you'll love it. If you have seen the movie, hit us up on Facebook, on the Facebook page, 365Flicks, Twitter page, 365Flicks. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, that's the Avengers. Jobs are good.
So, with Ultron being a huge character in Avengers 2 and being the baddie of the movie, he's badass baddie. Probably the first time Marvel's really got the baddie right since Loki.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah, because they're not really doing great with baddies.
Well, they very nearly did with the Mandarin, but then they went and fucked it up, so...
Yeah, they really did, didn't they?
They did. So what's the next section, Kev?
So we decided that we would do a top 5 comic book movie villains / TV.
You're really struggling with that, aren't you? You really are.
You know what it is? I haven't even had a fucking drink tonight.
What it is? You got it dead on last night.
Let me see. Like I wrote it down. Let me see if I can read it properly. Top 5 comic book movie / TV villains. See, it's all right when I read it written.
You read it written. Aye, okay.
Basically, we're going for. We're not bothering with the comic books. I mean, they're based on the comic books anyway. We're dealing with movie and TV villains. Yep. Who played them and who done it the best. Top 5. I'll let you start number 5.
So yeah, I had a little bit change about. Just a little bit change about. So my number 5 is Motherfucker from Kick-Ass 2.
Motherfucker from Kick-Ass 2?
Yeah.
Is that the one that McLovin plays?
Don't know. Maybe.
Nah, I'm not
sure. It's the lad from the first one. I didn't look up the name, to be honest. I'll Google it and see how many fucking messed up things come up.
Don't be typing motherfucker into Google.
Real name. Oh, played by Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah, that's McLovin. McLovin from Superbad.
I've never seen Superbad, so...
Yeah, I'll give you that one. He's quite good.
So yeah, so for my number 5, Motherfucker from Kick-Ass 2.
Yeah, I like him.
Yep.
I mean, Kick-Ass is a good film.
You know what? I think Kick-Ass 2 was underrated quite a lot. It's not as good as the first one, but I think the second, everybody went on about Hit Girl's story.
Yeah, that's the big problem with Kick-Ass 2 is Hit Girl.
But for me, that's not a problem. It's called fucking character development. There was nothing wrong with that story for me. So I think what they do with Motherfucker in Kick-Ass 2 is brilliant.
You just want to say Motherfucker,
I do want to say Motherfucker,
that is literally all you want. I've just realised why you chose that character.
That's not all. That's not the only reason I chose motherfucker. I chose motherfucker because in the movie, motherfucker.
So am I putting like an explicit rating on this episode?
No, that motherfucker is the character's name, so
My number 5 was...
won't be as good as motherfucker.
It was the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, played by Sebastian Stan. And as I've said on many occasions, and I know it was rumoured for a long time, when Chris Evans hangs up the shield, they're saying that Bucky Barnes is maybe going to be taken over because it must have happened in the comics. He must become Captain America.
Yeah, I think so.
Personally, I could see it happening because I thought the Winter Soldier was cool as fuck. He was brilliant.
I'd be up for that. But I also read a rumour that Falcon is another rumoured one to be taken over as Cap.
Is that going to happen now if he's actually in the Avengers? He's now in the team, so...
I don't know. Depends what they do in Civil War and stuff, doesn't it?
I would hope that Bucky takes over and
yeah, I mean, I think, they're building up a story there. They are.
Yeah.
He got a little bit mentioned in Age of Ultron saying that the Falcon was kind of chasing down leads and all that to see if they could find him. So they are they're keeping the story going.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they, which I imagine they're going to do, they're going to leave that till Captain America 3, I guess. So maybe in Civil War, the Falcon is still going to be looking for him, like the worst PI ever. And then in Captain America 3, they're going to track him down.
So he's pretty much become the, what's his name, Detective Lance of the Marvel Universe.
Aye.
Because he's the worst detective ever. So your number 4 is?
My number 4 was Scarecrow from Batman Begins, played by Cillian Murphy.
I like Scarecrow. I really liked him.
I think, it's just a fantastic character. They could have, Nolan could have easily gone for the Joker, sort of straight out. But I think he did the right thing. Cillian Murphy is a fantastic actor, plays the Scarecrow really well. They made it kind of realistic at the same time, where it's it's through the drugs and all that people see the Scarecrow, and it's pretty fucking scary at points, really.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'd like to see it.
But actually, what was scarier than the Scarecrow was that when Rachel Dawes saw Batman?
Yeah.
And all the shit thingy out of his mouth and stuff. That was pretty freaky, like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my number 4.
You know what it is? I forget how good Batman Begins is.
Better than Dark Knight Rises.
Dude, that's just weak.
Oh, you've mentioned Iron Man 3 quite a few times tonight, so
yeah,
don't question me.
We'll cover that later. We'll talk about that later. My number 4, sticking with Christopher Nolan, but moving to The Dark Knight Rises, is Bane, as played by Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I know you thought Bane was going to be a little bit higher, but...
You know what? I liked Bane in that movie as well. I don't hate all of the movie, just the shit bits. And as it turns out, there are just more shit bits than I would really like there to be. But Bane isn't one of them, except for the end when he turns into a pussy and gets shot by Catwoman.
Yeah, they kind of fucked him over. There was no need for that. Even if they just had him die off camera or something, I would have been happier with what they actually did to him.
But, leading up to that, you've got, the bit in the plane, which, by the way, apparently Christopher Nolan has come out this week and said that the bit in the plane at the beginning of Dark Knight Rises is his favourite scene from all of the trilogy.
I read that and I thought, really?
Yeah, I mean, what would you choose? I don't know what I would choose as the best
of the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
It would have to be a Heath Ledger scene. I mean, that's all I'm going to say.
Which Heath Ledger scene?
I like the bit when he's in the hospital and he's talking to Harvey Dent and he's on about you kill one commissioner and chaos. I love that.
To be honest, I loved that scene as soon as he sat down and went, "Hi."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
That's Ledger at his absolute best in that movie. Yeah, because he's like, "I fucked your face up," and he's kind of like, "Hi."
And then he forgets Rachel's name. Anyway, so I was a little bit surprised about that, but yeah, I'll let you off with Bane. I did think it would be higher, but
So your number 3?
My number 3 was Lex Luthor, the Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor from Superman Returns.
I'll totally give you that one. I mean, that movie was a diabolical movie.
It could have been so much better.
Could have been a hell of a lot better.
I did read at the time when it came out. I read a review of it. Not a very nice review, to be fair. One of many. But it said as soon as you introduce a kid as one of sort of the kind of a main character, that's really just a sign of you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
It did not need that in there. whatsoever.
it definitely
need it.
didn't. And they even tried to make it like it was some sort of twist that it was Superman's kid, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, like I kind of saw that one coming.
But in the movie, you've got Brandon Routh, who was screwed as much as Andrew Garfield. Let's face it.
Yeah,
He deserved another movie. Kevin Spacey was a fantastic Lex Luthor. You know, the plan to create land, well, wasn't a great plan really.
Well, it's always a real estate scheme when it comes to Lex Luthor. So
yeah,
they would just stick into the script, you know.
Yeah. Apparently there are different versions of Lex Luthor. So he was like the real estate one. And they're saying that Jesse Eisenberg is going to be more of a like the computer,
Yeah.
you know, sort of genius type one, which I suppose that's what he plays, isn't it? So
Well, that's what he does.
yeah.
Wisecracking smart mouth.
So that that was my number 3 anyway.
Yeah, I'm good with that one. I thought Spacey was really, really good as Lex Luthor. I really did like him. And when they started talking about Lex Luthor being in Batman, Superman, and Suicide Squad, and we both instantly said, why not give Spacey another crack?
Yeah, I would definitely like to have seen Spacey back in there.
So my number three, I went with Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
I had him at number 1 last night, but
You
you seemed a bit gobsmacked, and we had about 10 minutes of dead air. So I moved him into number 3. I love The Incredibles movie. I think it's quite possibly the best animated movie I've seen in my life.
Really? Wow.
Well,
I think I've only seen it once, to be honest with you.
It's in my top list. I recommend you watch it again. It's a great, 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 great movie. I mean, Brad Bird writing and directing it, he's good man, him. He's done in Mission Impossible 3, so
right.
good pedigree.
Fair enough, yeah. It's no Finding Nemo, that's all I'll say.
So what's your number 2?
My number 2.
You pissed me off there, by the way.
Sweet. Excellent. So my number 2 is Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, played by Alfred Molina.
Good. Shining light in the movie for me. I mean, I'm not as big on Spider-Man as you are, but yeah, Spider-Man 2, like the Raimi version, it's a great film.
That was, I think I've said it before, either on the podcast or on the website. Before The Dark Knight came out, Spider-Man 2 was considered the perfect superhero movie, and in no small part because of Alfred Molina playing Doc Ock.
Well, yeah, that's kind of it became the blueprint for the superhero movie.
Yeah, it was the first time that you got a villain that had, you know, it was like a 3-dimensional villain. You actually kind of knew why he was doing what he was doing. So yeah, that's why.
It's just a shame Sony couldn't follow their own blueprint.
Well, they tried to with Spider-Man 3, but then we got a story about a guy with a fucking sick daughter and all that.
Right, I'm no way ever going to defend Spider-Man 3 whatsoever, but Sandman could have been a good character.
But did we need a storyline about a sick daughter? Could he not just have been a badass?
Well, you needed to know why he was doing what he was doing.
Make it better than that.
So my number 2.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm sticking on the DC trail because I'm all about the DC, and I went with Michael Shannon in Man of Steel as Zod.
Yeah.
I was tempted to go for the Terrence Stamp version, because the Terrence Stamp version's pretty badass.
He is, but I would agree with you there. I really loved what he did with it. As soon as it was announced that he was going to be playing Zod, I was made up.
Because he's a great actor, he's a phenomenal actor. In fact, there's not much that I've seen him in that I didn't like. Even that stupid movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt when he's on the bike, Premium Rush, I think it was called.
I've never seen that.
He played like the baddie who was chasing Robin, and Robin was trying to like deliver a package somewhere, and Michael Shannon's chasing him down all the time.
Sounds like a Grand Theft Auto mission.
It was kind of like that, but even in that movie, the man was just hamming it up. But I'll tell you something, when you put ham on top of ham, Michael Shannon comes out on top.
That's a t-shirt.
That is a t-shirt.
Yeah. Jesus.
We're filling the store tonight.
Yeah.
I realise when you watch Man of Steel again, he's intense as fuck, but he's just brilliant. I like him.
He is, yeah.
And that scene when they're putting him in the pod, and he's like looking at what's it, Jarrell's wife, and he keeps on shouting at her. He's like, "I will find him. Yeah. I will." Like at the time in the cinema, I was like, "Really?" But every time I watch that movie, I just think, "Oh, you are amazing."
Yeah, you see that now when I watch that back, because I watched the video about it. I can't remember what video about it on YouTube. Now when I watch that scene, I'm distracted by the penis pods. So,
Yeah, they are massive penises. Like,
yeah, so that kind of takes that away from me a little bit. But
there's always time for a well-placed penis, though.
exactly, it's another T-shirt for you.
So your number one.
My number one. My number one was Wilson Fisk from the TV show Daredevil.
Ah, played by Wilson. Was it Vincent D'Onofrio?
I absolutely love the TV show. It's bloody brilliant. I've mentioned that to you before quite a few times now.
Yeah.
I can't recommend the TV show enough. And he's fantastic in it. He's so bloody sinister. You know, even when he's sort of calm and speaking away, it's kind of like Tony Soprano a little bit, where, you know, even when he was sort of speaking away, you could sort of think he'd kick off at any moment.
Yeah.
You know, and he just plays it perfectly.
I mean, I've not watched the whole series yet. I've watched the first episode, and I told you why. Like, I didn't want to go in and watch Avengers off the back of watching a dark as fuck Marvel TV show. That was my main basis.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of a flimsy basis, but you know what? I'm going to binge it this week, and I'm going to get it watched. My question is though, how does it stand up compared to the Ben Affleck movie?
Yeah, I'm not. Shut up.
So my number one.
Yep.
I also went for a TV villain at number one. I went for Deathstroke in Arrow, played by Manu Bennett.
Nice, fair enough, yeah. That was on my list last night, but...
It was, yes.
After you put it in there, I kind of thought, I'm going to take him out and put Motherfucker in instead. I did like Motherfucker as a character, so...
Yeah, like, Arrow as a TV show is absolutely kicking ass. It is absolutely amazing.
Speaking of kick ass... Sorry, right, okay, I'm done. I'm done.
And in that second series, the second series was impressive as fuck, but Manu Bennett as Deathstroke just absolutely killed it.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with you there.
The bits on the island were good enough, but the back half of that series, when he ended up in Starling City, just took it to another level, and he was just brilliant. So I went with Deathstroke. And I don't... Who's playing him in Suicide Squad? It's Hoyt from True Blood?
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure he's playing him now.
Right. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
It was going to be the other guy, you know, the werewolf guy.
Oh.
Joe Manganiello.
No, that's a baseball player, isn't it?
But then somebody saw him in Sabotage, the Arnie movie, and he kept on saying, "Who dropped ass?" And he kept... Oh, nah, what a fucking travesty of a movie. So they decided to go Hoyt instead.
Well, you know what? I think he should be in more. I liked Hoyt.
The thing I always loved about Hoyt was how at the end of Series 1, even though like it was the same day when you got to Series 2, he'd had a haircut between series.
Yeah.
And they didn't even try and explain it away. I loved it.
Well, you know, they sort of did different kinds of things like that to Hoyt. They had him fall in love with Jessica even though he didn't know who the fuck she was.
That was the beautiful thing about True Blood. Like, they just didn't really fucking care.
Yeah, especially in the last season. But
so that's our top 5.
Yes.
Top 5 comic book. I'm not going to try and say it again because I'll just make myself into a tit.
Too late there.
If you're happy with our top 5s, or if you have your own top 5, or if you want to just berate us, get yourselves onto the Facebook and the Twitter and let us know. And I've already said how you get there, so I'm not saying it again.
Yeah. Also, if anybody likes Motherfucker as much as I do, and Kick-Ass 2, let us know.
And that takes us on to the last section. A couple of episodes back, I think it was episode 8, I started the new section.
Yes, that's right.
Which was where we were going to give each other a movie to watch for the next episode and do a review of. I thought I chose an absolute gem for you, and when I gave you Biodome, it's an instant classic. I mean, it is an instant classic. Comic genius. So you came back and you gave quite a harsh review of it. I thought you were a tad harsh.
Really?
And in turn, you got the chance to hit me with a movie, and you chose 2001 classic movie Rat Race.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it kind of backfired a little bit because even you done the rewatch and even you turned around and said it was quite a funny film.
I did, yes. It was I mean, again, it's not up there with whatever, name a funny film. It's not up there as one of the funniest films I've ever seen or anything like that, but it
No.
was, the worst scenes in it still that I was sat laughing at it. And I did think, ah, shit, I was meant to piss him off and I've just given him an okay movie. So, yeah.
So, Rat Race is a movie that currently on, because I know you like your Rotten Tomatoes website, and I personally think it's bullshit, but you like it. Should I say that? Because they might come to us one day and say review. No, they're not going to do that. So anyway, Rat Race
Not
currently,
that's gonna happen, but you never know.
it currently holds a 44% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was half tempted to sign up so I could give it a really shitty review and try and take it down a couple of percent. But you know what, I'm not that bothered. But it kind of made me wonder who the hell's sitting there watching a movie that has like Academy Award winners such as Cuba Gooding Jr. And by the way, this was like this is post Oscar. This movie is actually he's won it. He's actually won it by now. And then he makes this movie. But then again, let's be honest, Cuba Gooding Jr. since Jerry Maguire has kind of tapered off a little bit.
Well, to be fair, this movie really couldn't have helped anything.
This movie really never helped. And then you've also got Academy Award winner Whoopi Goldberg, who, let's be fair, what a load of shite she was in this film. I mean, I'm not saying that I rate her as an actress anyway, because I don't. I just thought she was a load of shite in this film.
She was alright. She was good in Sister Act. Sorry.
So basically, this movie is one of those. It's an ensemble movie where everybody gets their own little parts. You get the very start of the movie, which is like it's total Jerry Zucker. By the way, the movie's directed by Jerry Zucker, one of the creative fucking geniuses behind Airplane, which I put in my top 5. Possibly top 1 comedy movie of all time. So basically, he comes off the back of he made Airplane, then he made Top Secret, which was again quite funny. He directed Ghost. That's where Whoopi won our Oscar. And then he had like a 6-year break and came back with this monstrosity. So basically, he starts exactly the same way that Airplane starts. You get that scene where you meet all the different characters who are about to get on the plane. This is like them in this casino, and you meet Whoopi Goldberg and a generic daughter who I can't even remember her name. You meet Seth Green. Is it Seth Green? No.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. You meet Seth Green. Was it?
Seth Green, yeah.
Yeah, you meet Seth Green with his idiot brother, who for a good portion of the movie I thought was a retard. Turns out it wasn't. It was just because he'd pierced his own tongue. They are quite possibly just the epitome of shitty comedy double acts. Because they just didn't work for me. They were just crap. And then you meet Breckin Meyer from Road Trip. Probably the only shining light of the movie. Because he was quite good. He was quite funny.
Really? Oh.
And he teams up with his Road Trip friend, Amy Smart. She comes into the movie. You have Cuba Gooding Jr., like I say, post-Oscar, putting in... I'm not going to say it's his worst movie role, because I once watched a movie called Boat Trip, and that was his worst movie role of all time. So this is slightly better. And he's like this referee who made a really bad call during this game, so he's down and out and he just wants people to forget who he is. However, he's the most famous black guy on the planet basically because of this fucking mistake he made.
Yeah, I'm really not, from rewatching it, I'm not sure what the mistake was. He fucked up flipping a coin or something and then...
He tossed the coin and made the wrong call. He said it was heads when it was meant to be tails or some bollocks like that.
Yeah, would that really fuck up the game and cost somebody $20,000? I mean,
no, it wouldn't.
Surely they would just, they would just start again. But anyway.
Exactly. So they all get this coin and they all go to this hotel room where they meet John Cleese, who's like this eccentric millionaire who set up this race. Obviously, it's the rat race. They have to get from the hotel to like 600 miles away to where there's a locker with $2 million in it. $2 million in this locker, and that's where it came. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson's in this movie. Yeah, Mr. Bean plays an Italian version of Mr. Bean.
He does.
In his, quite possibly his least funniest role ever.
I liked him.
After Mr. Bean. I mean, we had this whole argument last night. I think you thought I was being a bit savage on him, but I'm not a big fan of Rowan Atkinson. I just don't find him funny. I think the Johnny English movies are terrible. I think the Bean movie is terrible. I think Mr. Bean TV show is terrible. Just not a big fan of Rowan Atkinson, so yeah, that's that.
Apparently so, yeah. You're wrong, but...
So
yeah.
John Cleese sets them off on this adventure, and it turns into it's a mad world, which is like an older movie, which is also sort of an ensemble cast. I suppose these guys are a little bit more famous because we know them.
Yeah.
And then the movie kicks off, and it's all about the antics. It's kind of... If you've seen Cannonball Run or Smokey and the Bandit, you've seen this movie done 10 times better.
Yeah, okay, I would agree with you there, yeah.
You likened it to Wacky Races. Wacky Races is brilliant. This is a turd fest.
That's what it was sort of thingied as at the time when it was released. It was like it was supposed to be like a live action Wacky Races. And you know, when you see sort of cows tied to air balloons and all that kind of thing, you can kind of put that together, really.
That's kind of where I drew the line. It was like when I saw that bit, I was kind of like, nah, this is stupid. Mr. Bean, like I'm having a bit of a dig at him, but he teams up with Dennis Nedry from Jurassic Park, and he is pretty funny in the film. He only has he has a couple of little scenes, but he's kind of funny, and I like him in most things. I mean, he was in Seinfeld as well, and he was in Third Rock from the Sun, and he's usually a funny guy, and that's no exception in this movie. He is quite funny. So you kind of have him, Amy Smart and Breckenmeyer bump into Dean Cain, and he's just totally underused. But I think that was a case of, you know what, Dean Cain's not doing anything today, so let's get him in our movie.
That wouldn't have been the time of like Lois and Clark, wouldn't it? 2001?
Was it round about that time?
About then?
I think I have the feeling that Lois and Clark was kind of late 90s, early 2000s, so
he'd still be a fairly, big name, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like Dean Cain. I prefer him when he's like doing his kind of rapey, pedo kind of role. But I mean, he's good at that kind of thing.
What?
Yeah, he was in that movie with Denzel Washington, Out of Time. He was very rapey in that film.
I've never seen that.
I wouldn't ever recommend it. It's the only Denzel movie I will not recommend to anyone.
Right.
And then you have Whoopi Goldberg and generic daughter bump into Kathy Bates of all people, who
that's got to be the best cameo in it. I think you said that last week.
She is fucking hilarious, and she's only in it for maybe a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah, all that. She's basically, they stop to ask for directions, and she's selling squirrels.
she's like a crazy batshit like squirrel lady. And she's all like, buy the squirrel, and they're like, no, we don't want to buy the squirrel. So they buy the squirrel, and we don't want to buy the squirrel. So they say, okay, if you don't want to buy the squirrel. So they ask her for directions, and then you technically, for a minute, I thought she was giving them the right directions. But they end up careering down a fucking mountain, and there's like signs all the way down the mountain. It's like, I bet you should have bought a squirrel. You should have bought a squirrel. Which was just dynamite.
That was a good scene. I was laughing at that scene.
Because I thought she was just a crazy old lady. I really did. But Kathy Bates, when she's on her game, she's on her game. Interestingly enough, the third person in this movie who's won an Oscar. Yes, that's right. 3 people in this movie have won an Oscar in this debacle of shite. So that's basically the movie. They're all racing to get there, and they'll all sell their souls to the devil. They'll all kind of rip everyone off and steal each other's cars and trash each other, and they'll do anything they can to get to the money, because at the end of the day, that's what we as the human race are about. Money.
Wow. Deep.
It is deep. I mean, you said Biodome had a bit of a message and it didn't deliver. This movie has a message, and I've only just now, right now, figured out what that message was. I'm missing out John Lovitz. And the reason I'm missing out John Lovitz is because he's a horrendous actor. He's not funny. I'm saying he's not funny. He's quite funny sometimes. Again, I get the feeling that, because Chris Farley died, obviously you get John Lovitz in this movie, because he's basically a third-rate Chris Farley.
Yeah. He
does have, apart from Kathy Bates, he does have probably the funniest scene. And it's when they go to the Barbie Museum. And the kids are like, we want to go to the Barbie Museum. And he's like, we're not stopping. He's like, we want to go to the Barbie Museum. And they get there, and it's not a Barbie Museum as in the plastic toy. It's as in one of Hitler's henchmen. And just that whole little story from there. Just because you know me. If it's a comedy movie that references the Holocaust, or if it references the Germans or Hitler in any way, I'm loving it.
I like the bit where they pinch Hitler's the Hitler mobile.
They pinched the Hitler movie.
And they're finding a dose of stuff underneath the seats and everything.
Yeah,
and then his wife finds Ava Braun's lipstick and she puts it on and she goes to him and gives a kiss. That bit's pretty funny, like.
And the son's playing Hitler's harmonica, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then they kind of get ran off the road by a dozen bikers, and he like burns his finger, and he ends up with like a little bit of black smudge on his top lip, as you do in these movies. Of course. It's always going to happen. And then he like gets up on stage, and he can't really talk, and he's like Zeke Highland, like there's no tomorrow.
I just mentioned it's to a World War II remembrance
it's
service.
like veterans. Genius, man. This is why Jerry Zucker is a genius. Doesn't quite use his genius in this movie. There's a couple of little scenes, but that scene for me, apart from Kathy Bates, that scene stole the movie.
Yeah.
Because I love a well-timed, and it's the fact that we know John Lovitz as a human being and as an actor is in fact Jewish. Uh-huh. His wife in the movie, Kathy Nijimini from Sister Act, she is in fact. I didn't know her
name. I just thought it's that sister. What's the name from Sister Act? Yeah.
Yeah, she is in fact a Jew as well. So it just takes it to another level. And the film kind of. They all get there and nobody wins, and there's a big rock concert where they sing "Hey Now, You're a Rock Star," and the movie just kind of ends with like a dancing montage.
Yeah, that's kind of... We had this conversation where I sort of pointed out, well, how do you actually end the movie where, you've sort of been following the characters, different stories throughout. How do you actually pick one? I mean, it looked like Mr. Bean was going to win it, but he fell asleep.
Oh, God.
He's got the narcolepsy.
Jesus.
So, so they end up crashing into Save the Earth or Feed the Kids?
Yeah, Feed the Kids.
One of those things, big sort of charity concert. By the way, one thing I did actually think of, as I was watching it, when they went in with the big $2 million bag, right?
Yeah.
They were only on $9,000.
Yeah.
What kind of shit charity event is that? When you've got a stadium full of people and you've only raised $9,000? Because that was the last act, remember? When they did Hey Now, We're a Rock Star. That was the last act. So that's the end of the night and they've only raised $9,000? You just may as well not bothered.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's just what I thought of. Anyway.
It's not exactly Geldof money, is it?
It's not really, is it? That's what it was missing. It was missing that bloody scruffy Irish prick.
You can't say that about Bob Geldof.
I think you'll find I can.
He's a national treasure.
No, he's not.
And that's pretty much how it ends. Like, they end up at the concert and they kind of... One of them says something stupid and then they all end up giving the money to charity.
Yeah, and they all start stage diving and all that kind of thing.
Oh, God, stage diving. That was a thing once, wasn't it?
It was. I don't know if it is still a thing. I've never been to a gig like that, so it might still be a thing.
And John
But
Key,
let's not forget about Oscar winner Cuba doing his breakdancing and all that.
Which I'm pretty sure, and I mentioned it last night, I'm pretty sure that is almost the same breakdance he does in Jerry Maguire. When he scores the touchdown.
It might well be. I mean, I've not seen Jerry Maguire in quite a long time now, so.
But I mean, this film, like, it's fucking atrocious. Like, I realise, like, ensemble casts. This technically, this is the first big kind of ensemble movie, isn't it?
I mean, when you think about it, it is quite a good cast.
It's not bad. Like I say, you have 3 Oscar winners in there. There's not many movies that can boast that.
And you've got Mr. Bean.
And you've got, okay. And you've got Dennis Nedry.
Yep.
And he's always good for a laugh. But I mean, this film just fucking sucked ass, if I'm honest.
And John Cleese as well. Let's not forget about him. It's comedy icon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was alright. And like I said to you, the reason that when you said Rat Race, like straight away I knew what movie you were on about, because when I was in the video shop, as I've explained to you, we used to get this movie every like 2 weeks. We used to get about 20 copies of this movie from other video shops who could not offload it. So we got it. And this is the reason why I've never actually watched the movie. Because if you get that many copies of one movie coming in, you ain't watching it. If it's not a new release, you ain't watching it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, back in the day I did. I think I actually bought the DVD or It would have been DVD by then, yeah. But it was because Rowan Atkinson was in it, and I was a huge Mr. Bean fan, so that's why.
That's not a good reason to be buying a movie. So on the whole, when it comes to Rat Race, I don't thank you for giving me this movie to watch.
Good.
I really don't. The wife thanks you because, as I told you yesterday, I watched it with Lindsay and Ruby, the 7-year-old, because I had to explain the whole heart transplant thing to her, awkward conversation we having with my 7-year-old. So Lindsay kind of thanks you. She thought it was funny.
That's all right.
Ruby kind of thanks you because she was laughing, especially when the dog had the heart.
Happy with that. There you go.
When the dog had the heart in the mouth, she was absolutely howling. But yeah, no, this was a terrible movie, which is why I came out with your next project to watch.
Yeah.
And I went with the Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the guys that made South Park and Team America. They made a great movie a canny few years before South Park. Well, no, it was kind of when South Park was at its height, and that movie is called Basketball.
Basketball. Yeah. And I looked on Netflix today, and it is on there, so I can watch it.
I think
whenever I damn well please.
I think you'll enjoy that movie.
Yeah. So is it like a Biodome situation where don't watch it sober?
No, I think you'll be alright watching this one sober. You know what it is?
Right.
It's not that bad of a movie. It's Matt Stone and Trey Parker, so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to give you their first movie to watch, but I just don't think you'd cope with it. I don't think you'd make the end.
What was their first movie?
It's called Cannibal the Musical.
Right, okay.
And I don't think you would make it to the end.
No, I'm not a huge fan of musicals, to be honest. So
I put it on the other day, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I can't make him watch this. So,
wow.
I have a bit of empathy, so,
Quite surprised about that.
So that'll do it for episode 10. You're going to come back with basketball for episode 11, and I suppose that's episode 10 done.
Job's a good one.
If there is anything that anybody wants to hit us with, we're on the Facebooks, we're on the Twitters. Come to Musings of the Geek, we're on there. There's a couple other good podcasts on there that I like to listen to, so, share the love. And that's episode 10.
You are now leading the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.
You happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
As long as it's recorded.
Yeah, that would be a plus. I don't think I can do that a third time.